through this research, they hope that they can determine the severity of the PTSD earlier, and therefore be able to get the person the help they need before these situations actually happen and come up in their lives. So this article was written and was conducted. This research was conducted by the University of Houston, and their main goal in it was to determine how best to serve these people based upon their PTSD, and the ultimate goal is to develop a close loop with prototypes of neurological kind of enhancers to see what can really neurological like projectors or things that can see what stimulates your brain, and their main goal is to see whether certain events stimulate it more and certain events stimulate it less, and how best to help someone calm down or cope with their PTSD after the traumatic event is over. And like I said, I think this research is very important, and I think it will eventually lead to life-saving treatments that will save many of not only our servicemen and women, but many other people who struggle with PTSD. And eventually, it's said in the article, and I believe that it will be carried on to other things such as anxiety and depression, where we see what kind of things trigger the brain to cause that depression and anxiety more. That way we can try to avoid those things, and our therapists and the people around us can help to try and avoid those things and push positive things into our lives to help us adjust and live with the mental diseases I have. So overall, I really liked this article, and I think it's really important research. Hello, my name is Trevor Yuhas, and for my final psychology project, I chose to do a review over the article titled Brain Stimulation for PTSD Patients. So basically what this article is about is it's about new ways doctors and psychologists are using to determine how severe a patient is when it comes to PTSD and how best to treat them. And they're doing this by looking at certain physical factors that the PTSD patient represents. And one of the biggest ones that they noticed was sweat. So they said the body usually initiates sweating when one is under extreme physical stress or the body is overheating, but they have also noticed through many clinical studies as well as therapy sessions that these patients with PTSD will often start to sweat when they recall certain memories that are traumatic and that they struggle to comprehend. And therefore, the main point of this whole article was that we can use these certain physical signs such as sweat to determine what level of PTSD this person might have or these people might have, and how best to treat that. And one of the things was in this article is they started using virtual reality simulators to kind of place the person in as close as possible of an actual incident as they can, and help bring out that stress and see how much sweat the body will produce in response to that. So my opinion on this is I think it's a really smart idea and a really profound forward-thinking idea, because by helping us understand how bad a patient's PTSD or emotional stress is, we can determine the best way to treat them. For example, if you have somebody who has extremely minor PTSD, they might only have to have therapy sessions once a month or once every 2 weeks, or maybe not at all, maybe just have somebody to talk to emotionally. Whereas if we can determine that say a soldier has extreme PTSD from years of service, he might have to see a therapist weekly or daily and always have a hotline to somebody. And I think through this research, we can help to not only help cure these people and help them move on with their lives, but we can also help to save lives in general. As many people know, many people with PTSD oftentimes do have suicidal thoughts, and sometimes will act on those thoughts and commit suicide. So through this research, they hope that they can